guarantee every time.
So can we have, don't commit to
I don't have much time. I normally have 15 minutes, but we've got such a packed program, and I know you've been here a while, but I want to share something very personal with you. Would that be okay?
Fine. Yeah, please. Yeah. Fine.
What was your name again, sir?
Bruno.
Would that be okay? I'm going to share something. I'm not joking. It's not a game. I'm not messing about. I'm going to share something personal with you. Real name, Michael Don Smith. And on the 13th of July in 2016, I'd known about cryptocurrency for about 4 months. And the price of one Bitcoin at that time was $30. And I bought £1,000 worth, so I had about 30 Bitcoins. Note I said had. I had about 30 Bitcoins. And I'd heard the stories about Bitcoin. It was a scam, it was a Ponzi scheme, but I loved the technology. So I bought them. And 3 months later, they were worth $300 in 3 months. Now we know about the cryptocurrency boom. You know about it, I know, young man. You don't know about it? Well, if you get £30, you know what pounds are? If you get £30 and you keep it in your pocket, and 3 months later, what's 30 times 300, anybody? Any mathematicians? 30 times 300, I haven't got much time. 9,000? And then you wake up one morning, 3 months later, and instead of £30 in your pocket, you have £9,000. Would that be a good thing? It was a crazy good thing. But I've been heard about this. You've got to be careful with this stuff. You've got to be careful. So what did I do with my 30 Bitcoins when they were worth 300 times what they were before? What did I do? I didn't say what should I have done. I said what did I do?
You saved it.
I cashed them in. I cashed them in, and that was a good. At the time, it was a good. Don't laugh at me, because you're in the future. But go back with me.
That was a mistake.
It was a big mistake. It was a huge mistake. It was a massive mistake, because on the 13th of July 2016, when I'd got the knowledge and the information, as Bilal said, I had a stroke. I won't go into that in any detail, but you'll notice my right side is not as nimble as it should be. So I was out of business, out of speculation. I wasn't walking for a few months. So it was 2017 before I even thought about Bitcoin. In 2017, when I woke up, there were $3,000 a coin. From £30, they went to £3,000 a coin. And I said, I've missed it. I've blown it. Not only am I unhealthy, unwell, but I've missed the boat. Tough. Then in, I'd say July, August this year, no, last year, sorry, there was £6,000 a coin. I hadn't missed the boat at all, but I had missed it because I thought I missed it, if you see what I mean. Then I met these gentlemen here, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to get into it. I thought, I've got to get in, and the way in, as Amira said, is through mining. I don't need £3,000. I get in through mining from £500 or £1,000. I'm back in. And I got in, and I watched this thing exploded. Now, one of the words that you've heard today is about an asset. And the ordinary person in the street doesn't really know about assets. We think our home is an asset. If you think your home is an asset, you're wrong. If you need to live in it, you can't sell it. Yeah? So it's not an asset. You think your job is an asset. Well, let me take you through this. Has anybody heard of Robert Kiyosaki?
Yes. Yeah.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Now, in his book, he talks about having a rich dad and a poor dad. His poor dad, his real father, was the academic, the businessmen who did what with their teachers in school. They did what they're going to teach you in school. And he got a job and did all those things. But his poor dad didn't work for money. He did what I'm going to very, very quickly show you. So I'm going to go through this very quickly. I apologize. This is in Robert Kiyosaki's book. It's called The Cash Flow Quadrant. I'm going to throw some principles at you here, and you can look it up, Google it, and find out. Well worth following. So in this cash flow quadrant, quadrant is 4, there are 4 boxes. The first box got E. The E stands for, if you know it, just shout out for me.
Education.
No, not education. It's employee or employed. Now, employee is somebody who has a job. J-O-B. Excuse my writing, you know why it's like that. But J-O-B. J-O-B is an acronym. It stands for just over broke. Because the employment game is this. This is the employment game. You as the employee, sir, you will do just enough work so they don't sack you. That's what you do. People often say, hey, they're not paying me to do that. Oh, it's more than my job's worth. And the employer pays you just enough so that you don't leave. They don't want to pay you too much because then you might leave because you've got enough money. So this stops you reaching your potential. It stops you because you're working and you're not doing your best, you're not giving your all because you don't want someone to take advantage of you. You don't expand yourself, you don't reach your potential. In fact, when you get very, very good at your JOB, your job, you have what Michael Gerber calls an entrepreneurial seizure. You go, you know what? I'm the mechanic, I'm the nurse, I'm the doctor, I'm the chef. Why am I working for them when I could have my own business? So S stands for self-employed. So you take the knowledge you got as an employee and you start your own business. Anybody self-employed in the room? Okay? If you're self-employed, you're working for a lunatic. You're working for somebody who knows everything you're thinking, who knows where you are. You can't lie to that person because you're the boss. Not only that, when you had a job, when you had a JOB, you're working maybe 30, 40 hours a week. Now you're self-employed, how much are you working? 40, 80 hours a week. You're working all the time because with your brains on, you're running the business. So many self-employed people are successful, but many more, after a while, go back as an employee. Because when you're an employee, you just had the job. Now you're the owner, you've got the banking to do. You've got the R&D to do. You've got the marketing to do. You've got to look. It's crazy. If you don't go back to being an employee, you come up here and you turn your self-employed business into a limited company and you start hiring people. So you hire people. That's when the trouble starts. Because people are a pain. Yeah? And you hear this word, oh, I might as well do it myself. I've got to do it myself. Now here's the other thing. On this side of this quadrant, employees and self-employed people, they make up the majority of the world. The majority of the population are either employed or self-employed. But they earn less than 5% of all the money in the world. So they do most of the work, they're most of the people, but they get less than 5% of the money. Over this side, they make all the money. You have the big business. When you've got a business, you're an owner. And the thing with business is, although you're not trading time for money, on this side of the equation, you trade your time for money. That's what Mira said when she was a mom, she had a job, she had all those things. Her time was the value. She had to give her time for the money. When you're a business, you're still giving time for money, but you're not giving your own time, you're giving your employees time. But it's still time for money. So these 3 boxes, they are caught in the time trap. Does that make sense? Sharon, does that make sense? But what you're doing in this room right now is you are getting an illustration of an example of how you can become an investor. What do investors do? Apart from invest. They make money. What's the other half of that? They make money.
Sleeping.
Sorry? Sleeping, yeah. They make money while they sleep. I want you to turn to the person next to your testimony and I want you to say, my money makes my money. Do it now. Say, turn to each other and say, my money makes my money.
My money makes my money.
If you can get money to do its job, and I'm telling you now, if you take nothing away from today, take this away. Your job, your JLB, not JLB now, your work, your purpose, your passion, your dream is to make the money make more money. But now, what you're going to learn, especially from the gentleman coming up next, is that with a very little initial investment, with a very little seed, you can start being an investor. You can put your money somewhere, you can buy something, a piece of a computer, that will start doing what? Mining. I don't call it mining, I call it... I don't call it investing, I call it... okay, thank you. Let me try it again. Turn to the person next to you and say, my money makes money. Let's do it now. Come on, play the game. Play with me. I'll do it with you. My money makes money. And that's the goal. And now if you can get your money to make money and then teach other people to make their money make money, and you get money from other people's money making money, oh my gosh, that's a lot of money. Does that make sense? Well, please listen very, very carefully to the next speaker, because I'm going to choose this man. I actually met him before I met him. I met him on a Zoom call, and you need to learn that about him, because he knows how to make money without leaving his kitchen table. So please, put your together for our diamond, Paolo, and it's my pleasure to see you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Great, yeah?
Yeah,
Thank
pleasure.
you. Cheers.